will ask you about the buzz in our business. Hey everybody, Helena here.
Hi here.
And we will introduce you fully and properly to Tonya in a moment. Welcome. We are Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors, and coaches to build a business on your terms. And as is always our want, we definitely always start with the buzz in our business. So because, you know, we want you to be interested and excited about your businesses, but we want other people to do that as well. And so the way to do that is to talk about the buzz in your business. So if you have any buzz in your business, we want to know in the comments below. Do let us know what's going on, what's interesting, what's exciting, what are you celebrating in some way. And on top of that, if you are doing a hashtag replay, put hashtag replay, because we do love to know when somebody's actually kind of paying attention, because it means you can tag Tonya, you can tag us, you can tag anybody, and just sort of say, hey, I really like this comment, or I don't know what you're talking about in some way. So ask your questions, do your hashtag replay. We want to know when you're watching, even if it's 2 in the morning because you can't sleep and you just wanted some education in some way.
To put you to sleep.
Oh, stop already. That is never going to happen with our lives. Never, ever, ever. If it does, let us know, because I think we should want to know that.
Yeah, we do want to
know
we
want to know that. Okay, good. So the buzz in our business, for those of you who are in the Connection Hub, so we're doing this on Speaker Insight, but the Connection Hub, beautiful. The link has Kelly has been fiddling about with all the technicals. The Connection Hub is really the place where the conversation kind of happens. So if you're not in there, do come and join us in there. And one of the reasons for doing that is, for those of you who are used to these lives, you know that we build a lot of resources for speakers, authors, and coaches. And one of the things that we actually did this week was literally pull all of those things together into one place. So you don't actually have to think about, oh, I really want that list they keep talking about of the 200 places to speak on stages, or oh, I need that CRM matrix that people keep talking about. They're now all in one place. We have called it the Resource Hub. Which is really rather good. So that's probably me burbling for long enough for some people to at least join us.
We've got like Tally joining us from Hong Kong.
Nice.
Joseph's in here. Yeah. Say hi, everybody.
Which is really rather good. So
from Hong Kong,
yes,
to Texas.
Very good. Who's this? Let us know who this is.
So this is Tonya Hofmann from the PSA, the Professional Speakers Association. So we've brought her in because we've been talking to Tonya for a couple of months now.
Welcome.
And we know that our members always asking, how do I get speaking gigs, and how do I specifically get gigs that are paid gigs in corporates? How do we open that door, whether you're a speaker who wants to speak on stage, or whether you're a coach who actually wants to go in and do some consulting or training? Yeah. So we've been speaking to Tonya about her program and her academy and the stuff that she's done, and we were like, oh my god, you are the perfect match, you're the perfect expert to bring into the hub members to introduce you to the concepts that you're going to train about today. And I know you've been running the PSA since 2012, was it? Yeah, 2013. Right, so you know you've been doing this for a long time, so it'll be really good for the guys to know about your background, about how you've actually come to set it up, why you set it up, because I know you sing from the same hymn sheet as us. You do. You've got the same value set. So that's why we love you even more. You've got the same vision as what we have as well. Yeah. So first of all, what's the buzz in your business? Yes.
Oh my goodness. I mean, from launching a chatbot for Messenger to creating a whole phone app to get people connected to corporate even more and to other amazing people so they can coach their little hearts out. I mean, you know, I never stop because I hate people.
When does that go live, man? When does the chatbot go live?
It's going to be going live probably in the next week or two. So we're just dilly-dallying the FAQs and all those fun things that we're like, are they ever going to be done?
yeah, completely. But when you're done, it will be so amazing. Yeah. And that's the cause for celebration, right?
Exactly. We do a little happy dance.
So tell us a little bit about your background, hon. Tell the viewers about how you've got to where you are today.
Oh, well, I had to kind of go from being a complete introvert, you know, being where speaking was so like terrifying to me. I mean, sweaty and shaking, can't remember what my name was. And that was for an elevator pitch at a networking group, right? So when people are like, oh, I can't speak, I'm like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I love showing people where I was, because people are like, you were an introvert? So I love showing the picture of me. This is 2005. Yep. 2005, Leander Chamber of Commerce Holiday Gala. Ladies, gala outfit. This is what I'm talking about, introvert.
Wow. Wow. And how long ago was that, did you say?
2005.
2005.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
So-
God.
Welcome.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think those of you who are listening, who are regular kind of watchers of this, will know that this is exactly what we talk about. You know, it's a journey, it's a story. We build on the day before. We build up our businesses bit by bit, app by app, phone application by phone application. You know, we do it little by little. And so one of the reasons that we absolutely love Tonya is exactly that she exemplifies everything we're saying that speakers, authors, and coaches building a business that really changes the world is all about.
Yeah.
So do say a little bit more. So from those nervous beginnings, then what happened?
Well, you know, you have to, and this is why people, they see us, right? They see us today and they don't see the journey. And I think that's really tough. I even put together like a slide when I do a PowerPoint showing my journey, and it's fun to watch my hair change. That was really cool. But it's realistically, it's about, you know, building your confidence and really seeing yourself, because I'm like, I'm little Tonya, why would someone want to see me speak? I mean, you know, oh, I have a voice. Oh, people want to hear me. Oh, wow, this is bringing me business, right? And so I started my first networking group in 2006 on Friday mornings, because I figured if I had to stand up every Friday and talk to a group of 20 people, I would have to get over this fear of speaking.
Right. Nice.
And it also helped me because I hate getting up on Friday morning. So it also made me do that.
Brilliant.
So I did that. And of course, I don't do anything small. So I soon created this networking group into a statewide networking group organization with 25 groups. I sold it in 2011. And then I'm like, what do I do now? You know? And so I was like, let's be a professional speaker. But I didn't like what I saw for speakers, because people were coming to me to coach them. But then I would find this very elitist attitude. And believe me, I've got emails of people saying, how dare you let those people in? I'm like, those people? What are you talking about, right? Why are you helping people, you know, get into the speaking world? We're already in it. And I'm like, wow. And so the more I got into connections to people in the speaking arena, I realized just how antiquated they were in their approach, that everything was very stale and very much the way it always has been. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's change that.
No disruption here.
So I got quite a few people upset when I launched the Public Speakers Association. And when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, what's my pillar? And that's 2 rules. First rule, you have to be nice, no mean, grumpy, negative people allowed. And the other one, no perfect people, please. And then there's like a third hidden one, which is no elitism. You know, no divas, no devos, you know, stay away.
Nice.
So it's been a lot of fun.
And the vision for the whole setup, tell us a little bit about what you do for them.
What I didn't find out there was a place to find actual speaking opportunities, and then helping people market themselves, because that's usually the 2 components that speakers really challenge themselves with. You know, in today's society, today's speaking world, it is not about a speaker sheet. I know your speaker sheet is adorable. I just think it's so cute. It doesn't matter. So get over your speaker sheet. It's about really looking at what does your social media say, because that's where they're looking for you. They don't really, they don't even really want the fancy websites or the scissor reels anymore. They want to see, what are you actually saying? Are people talking about you? Are people following you? Is your subject matter so amazing that people want to follow you? And that's more important than anything.
Being that attraction magnet, right?
Exactly.
Rather than waiting to actually put your speaker brochure, sheets, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and then the sheets come in, and then the websites come in, and then the other things come in, right? Then those things are relevant, but you've got to get yourself up and going. Oh no, I think I froze. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. There we go.
You're back.
you got to love it. You know, Texas to Surbiton, it's a good thing.
Exactly.
So the big thing, you know, sort of what we're aware of, and which everybody here might not kind of fully gather yet, is that you actually took that challenge on, and like you've been finding gigs for people, and you have a place that actually does that. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But before we do that, I almost want to sort of step back a little bit. And one of the things that we hear very often is it's so hard to get into, you know, sort of in the corporate door, so to speak, to kind of put your foot in there. So, you know, for those people who are wanting access to that, what are your thoughts around why they find it so hard to do that?
Because it is hard. So what most people don't look at is, and this is what I just kind of geek out about, is how do you do things unusually?
Mm-hmm.
Because the unusual parts is how you make things happen. So people want a straight path, right? I do this, it gets me this. I do this, it gets me this. Where, especially
that way, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's all like wishy-washy, wishy. Oh, wow, look, oh, I'm here. I mean, that's the way it really works. And it's like, I'm talking with Boeing right now. I'm sure y'all know about Boeing over there. It's a massive international company. They have, I'm looking at their Women's Initiative program, 25,000 women, okay? Yes, do I want to train them? Yes. Am I drooling talking to them? Yes, right? How did I find them? That's the question. How do I even start that conversation? I flew to California for a free gig, right? For 15 people in the room. All right, I spent $1,500 to go speak in front of 15 people. Did I know Boeing was there? No.
Okay.
I went to support the guy because he asked me to come and speak. I'm there, I do a presentation, I talk to everyone, I build relationships with everyone. Boom, guess who's in the audience?
Yeah.
That's how it works. And people have a hard time with that concept, that they can't predict what an event is going to do for them.
I think, you know, when obviously being a speaker agent myself, I think what people get the wrong idea about is that to get corporate gigs is the same as to get clients or SMEs and doing all the digital funnels.
Same process.
It doesn't work that way, right? Corporates are not going to go in from a lead gen to a nurture sequence to an opt-in page to then, you know, it is the personal approach, isn't it?
It's the relationship build.
You have to do the networking events where HR directors are hanging out and the decision makers and the L&D directors. You have to go there. You have to do those gigs that you said where you might even be speaking for free, but you know who's in the audience and it's a prospecting gig. So a lot of the people, I would put them in sort of CEO forums and put them on stages of just like a room of 10 CEOs where they do a presentation and the work comes as a result of that.
Yeah, because it's showcasing, right?
Yeah, they might get like £750 or £1,000 for the gig to do it, but that's not what they're doing it. They're doing it for what comes as a result.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
And a lot of people would they need to go and identify who their corporate is that they want to work with. They want to know who's on their hit list. Like, what is it, the finance industry you want to go for? Is it the retail? Who is it is your ideal avatar? And a lot of people will go and prospect them. Go and find out the gatekeeper, the decision maker, the person you might even have to offer a free assessment to their you know, SLT staff to work out what the problem in that organization is before you can offer a speaking gig or a training solution. So, but I think this is what I'd love you to just confirm what I'm saying, because you're the expert. It's the personal approach that matters when you're getting corporate gigs, isn't it?
Yeah. because of the internet, people think that an email or a message on LinkedIn is going to do the job.
So not the
that
way.
that for some reason, as entrepreneurs, we started feeling comfortable not talking to people.
Yeah.
And it's not reality still. And even more important nowadays, before it was so new that, when you sent someone a message, they're like, oh, cool, look, somebody's emailing me. That's long gone.
Where is yours in these 400 that are in my inbox?
Exactly. And even for anything, when you're looking at developing anything that you want to do in your business, it's all based on relationship. For me to come over to England and do my conference over there, I can't do that alone. I have to reach out to people as fabulous as you to connect and partner and see how we can help each other so that we both win. It's got to be a win-win. And so many times I hear it all the time. Oh, it's about me. And I'm like, all right, so what's in it for me?
And that's so important, because I think a lot of the time people, even when they do the personal approach, they're too busy to go, this is me, and throw it at them and go, this is what I can offer your company,
without listening.
But how do they even know that organization has that need, right? And so again, I would advise, the agents in my organization, they will look at RBS's public records that have been put out that year to actually go, well, what's the staff retention, the happiness of the job satisfaction, the sickness rate? Because then you can go, look, actually,
evidentially,
your employees are really not very happy on their job satisfaction. How can we develop a training program, a gig, or something around that to improve that? So at least you're solving a problem rather than just going, hey, I'm a leadership and trainer speaker, you need me. Well, how do you even know that?
That's right.
So I think that whole building relationships, making a partnership, what's in it for me, and having that personal approach. There isn't a do this, you'll get a corporate speaking gig by following that linear formula, as you said.
And get really good at being uncomfortable. Because a lot of times we'll go to a big event. So I went to this huge event. It was probably, 1,500, 2,000 people, and they were doing their big speakings, keynote, and you had lunch and, blah, blah, blah. So you had your rubber chicken, and so I went in and I had this entourage of people that were with me, and I said, okay, bye guys. And they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm like, I already know you. Go network people you don't know.
So use the opportunity, right?
Oh my gosh, people are just like glue, and they sit together. And I'm like, you already know. Are you here to network? Are you here to meet somebody? Come on.
And I think that frame is a really important one. Keep going.
Yeah, and when you look especially if you're trying to hit corporate, go to those kind of events. When you see those tables that are reserved for the person who bought the table, right? Go to there, right? Go to the sponsorship tables that say reserved. Now, why would you do that? It's reserved. You're not part of the reserved people. Usually those tables are pretty empty because only 2 people out of the 8 got to come. All right. So there's this empty table, and usually it's 2 guys. What's so great about guys is they never sit next to each other. Right? So there's usually 1 or 2 chairs in between them. So you go, oh, may I sit here? It's so busy here. It's so packed. Do you mind if I share? And they're going to go, yeah, especially if you're, a lady.
You're pretty blonde, right?
So you sit down, and then you don't do oh, this is me and this is what I do. You say, so who are y'all? What do you do? How can I help you? And I did that with Chevron. I went to a big event. Chevron had a table, 2 guys not sitting next to each other, sat in between. And I looked at both of them like, so who are y'all? What do y'all do? Tell me about you. How can I help you? And they're like, what? Now it was a procurement event. So they had been bombarded all day long with me. I want this, I want that. No one had ever asked them probably their name, right?
Big
and they just went, wow, this is so refreshing. And they're like, well, I don't know how you can help me. What do you do? They asked me. Now they're curious. Now I can present what I do. And I got booked for a speaking opportunity. Not that they were the people I needed, but they knew the person I needed to know.
Yeah.
And because they referred me, it was an immediate yes. And so they flew me out to the middle of nowhere, Texas, and I, got to do my whole speaking thing for an hour and got paid very, very well. So look beyond the comfort zone and look at opportunities.
I really love that. And the thing that I really love about you is that this isn't just about getting you the gigs. You now use your relationships to actually get everybody else the gigs as well. So can you say a little bit more about that? Because I suspect that there's quite a few people who might like to learn about that.
Yeah, there's something about talking about somebody else, saying that they're the expert, that makes people's eyes widen, right? That's what you're looking for, is the eyes and the eyebrows to go up. And so the best thing you can do is be a resource. And this is generally for everybody. Yeah. Have a list of people that are your friends, that you're there to support each other. And when you ask somebody, what is your biggest need? It may not be you.
Yeah.
It could be, somebody else. It could be a beautiful lady named Helena or, Kelly or whatever, So you may have these opportunities to connect people, and you're still solving the problem for that company.
Yes.
Then you're just revenue sharing with the person, right? Y'all got to get used to revenue sharing. No, it's all my money. Stop it. And so that way you're actually helping grow other people's businesses, but you're getting a little bit too. And then it elevates you as somebody that person, they respect, because it's not always just about you.
Yeah.
And when you do that, and I love doing that, I've been doing that for even before the Public Speakers Association, is just, how can I help solve a problem for that person?
Yeah.
Because so many times it loops back around to me.
Yeah. And now with your association, you send out an email. Is it monthly, Hun? That with speaking opportunities?
It's actually whenever I can find. So I try not to put one. I try to put like at least 4 to 12 in an email. Yeah. So yeah, whenever I get them, like I'm about to send out another whole set, I just push it out, and then that way people can apply.
Yeah. So that's another. And we'll talk about the whole academy that you run and everything, that what you can sign up to. But that's one of the things, is you're constantly out there networking, and you've been building your database of these organizations, and not just building the database, it's the relationship.
It is the relationships, that's the piece that we really honor and respect about you, is that you've taken those relationships and you've gone, hey, I don't have to keep these all to myself. Actually, I could support, create what I would call the win-win-win, sort of like that actually allows me to connect others to opportunities that are out there, because actually the people in your network can actually deliver what is wanted by the people who you're speaking to. It's amazing.
And just looking at some of the comments, so people are liking all the stuff. I'm going to read. There was some comment from Joseph that said, this is akin to the Eastern way of doing business. In the West, we plow in and try to get through the door to do the business. And when we go onto the golf course, this just doesn't work in Asia. In the East, we have to be personal, engaged, discuss, accept invitations to home, and never discuss business at all. The next day you do business, but social comes first. So it's just like saying that we should all really learn from that, but it's building those relationships before you get into the nitty-gritty of the business.
It really is.
So I think we've highlighted that point across about just tell us a little bit as a side, because I know you're saying about going to these events. What would you class these events as? So where would some of these people find those initial events? Where would they be
trade shows? Are they?
Because I know a lot of my people would attend HR conferences and those types of places. So what are the events that you're saying that you go to where you sit in between the guys?
And this is the hardest part for people to grasp. It's usually the weirdest conferences to go to that you'll find the biggest connections.
Okay.
Because if you're going to an HR conference, there's HR people there. So great. But they know they're on the tech mode, right? So they're already got their walls up. They're already in that mode. versus going to an entrepreneur conference or a, weird conference that you're like, a real estate conference or whatever. That's how I found Boeing. It was a real estate little event.
Right.
I mean, why would I find Boeing there? Because the lady was interested in real estate.
Oh,
Right.
okay. So they weren't doing it with their professional hat on. They were doing it as like, I want to earn money.
Yeah.
Okay.
They wanted to do something different, right? They want to have side gigs. They wanted, and so the part that's hardest for people is to assess the room. Who should you be sitting with? Where should you be sitting? Right? And you have to talk. You have to build those relationships. So the first thing I do is I come in, and before I get there, I say hello to all the speakers, anybody that's on the website.
Nice. Yeah.
Because those are connections.
Yeah.
So start actually building relationship with each other. Ugh, what a concept. Then the next thing is when you go, obviously the event people, putting on the event, those should already be in the bag, right? So when you get there, they all know you. The other part is all the vendors, the sponsors.
Yes.
Those are incredible connections. And a lot of times those are the corporate that you want anyways. And stop thinking corporate is only the top 100, the top 500.
Good piece.
There's this huge market of just middle,
SME.
Yeah.
You just want to lick the knife of that, and that's enough to keep you going, right?
Banks and insurance companies. And I mean, you just, the list goes on and on.
Because everybody needs training.
Everybody. And so you just go and you start conversation first about them, because how can you talk about anything you do unless you even know who they are and what they do, right? And then from there, then you start assessing the group and you ask people, hey, event person, so who should I talk to? Right? Before you go even. So if you built a really good relationship with that event person, you should be able to ask.
So
right?
was just saying, how does she assess the room? So that's perfect. You've just given that answer to her.
Yeah, and also when you look at the whole assessment, this is the way I approach every speaking gig, is I send a message when I fill the forms out. Usually there's a note section or there's an email address if you have questions. I send that person an email or I fill in the note section. If I want to help you promote your event, even if I'm not chosen as a speaker.
Nice.
Boy, does that level you up. That tells people that you are a game player, that you are someone that isn't just there to gobble, right? So anytime you stand out is a good thing.
Yeah, and that's so right. Somebody asked me the other day, I was in a group somewhere with speaker agents, and people said, what's the best thing to impress a speaker agent? And I said, you come to us with a gig already. And you say, look, hey, can you do the contracts and stuff? I already got this gig. Can you do it? Then basically we know that you're your collaborator, the one that you can get the gigs. You just need someone to do all the hard work, which you can't be asked to do, which is what we're there for, right? But you brought an asset to us, so therefore we're going to do more for you. It's that give and take, and that's one of the things, if you say do it for the corporates as well, awesome, right? We're going to promote, and that's why it depends on the type of gig it is. If this is an in-house AGM, they don't need any promotion, right? But if it's something which you're saying in the M of SMEs, then they're probably going to need it out externally promoted. So that's a great offer. So just loving it, by the way.
So I have one little question that I suspect will be at the back of people's minds, which is, so you're saying I should go to a lot of these places in order to kind of almost speculate and kind of connect and be with people. How much time will that take me?
All your time. So if you look at your day, right, and you're like, people want to kind of fill their calendar, you should look at what is your marketing look like. That is what conferences are. Now, you should be a speaker at those conferences because now you're an expert and you're one of the people. So you're walking up to people and like, oh, I'm one of the speakers. Hey, how are you? And so it does elevate you up. It's hard for me to go to an event now where I'm not a speaker. I'm just an attendee. But sometimes it makes sense for me to be an attendee. Right. I just went one in Dallas that I was just an attendee for. I was bored out of my mind, but I got some huge connections.
Brilliant. But you're going with a different intention, right? You're not going to learn the thing, you're going with a different intention.
Exactly. There's some events you go and you're absorbing all their information because you need that information. It's like juicy, you're there for that. Then there's things that you get the information and then you're also prospecting for new clients and new opportunities. And then there's some that you're just going for the opportunities.
Yeah.
So you have to be really clear about where you're going, but it drives me nuts that people go to an event and they're not ready to sell, that they're not ready to, they don't even have business cards with them. And I'm like, you could meet somebody. I mean, and also look at opportunities. If it's an event, I hang out a lot of times out in the hall, not even in the event, so that I'm talking to every person that goes to the bathroom. Now that's a very intentional, this is my little office during this event. And people start laughing because they're like,
where can I find Tonya?
So yeah, it's just hilarious because but it works. You know, I've went to another speaker's and it was like, ugh, I couldn't handle what she was saying to people. So people would go to the bathroom and I would hang around this little beautiful table out in the foyer with all the vendors and sponsors. They had them out there too. I built up huge relationships that I still have to this day with all the sponsors, which are massive speakers themselves. And then I started building relationships with, I walked away with $25,000 in sales by the time I left that event. Because I went there I was expecting to learn, didn't like what she was saying. And so I used the opportunity, but I had forms. I was ready. I was prepared.
Yeah. And I think that's really important. So looking at, once you've done the relationship side of things, what are some of the assets that a speaker who wants to be paid, there's two parts to this question. In your opinion, can you differentiate for us the 3 different types of speaking and how people get paid? Yeah. And then looking at those 3 different options, if people want to go into the corporate gigs, what type of assets do they need? You've mentioned business cards, you've mentioned speaker sheets. I talk about show reels. So can you give us a little bit about those 3 different types of speaking types of being paid and then the assets? Yeah.
So you need, so the 3 types, of course the phone starts to go crazy. So the 3 types, there's the free speaking.
Yeah.
Stop calling it free speaking. There's nothing free about it. Okay. Call it investment speaking because you're investing your time and your effort and your money to go to these events.
Yeah.
The free speaking, the investment speaking is really your marketing. It's just part of your marketing budget. And I know a lot of you are going, what marketing budget? So, but it should be your mainstay. This is what I'm doing to find those leads, to find those opportunities. And that really will make you more money than anything else. Okay. Any other kind of investing of marketing, that's your go-to. The second type of speaking is paid speaking. And that one is your keynotes. Okay. They're not really even paying people for workshops anymore. So it's mostly the keynotes. I would suggest not ever taking a keynote. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this because people are like, oh, why not? Now, if someone wants to pay you to have you fly in and do a presentation and pay you and you leave, great. Okay, fine. You can take it. All right. It gives you some exposure. But you've got to look at, does the time away for that amount makes sense for you when you don't get to actually develop the relationship with the audience and get their contact information. So if they allow you to do some type of contest or something, fabulous. It's worth it. But you've got to get those people's contact information. All right. Now the workshops are awesome, the free speaking parts, because you're now filtering out everybody in that conference to the, say, 100 people who are just drooling for your information. This is the most amazing filtration system ever, because you take that entire group and you find out who actually wants your specific topic.
Yeah.
So I always suggest people go for the workshops. You'll make so much more money than the keynotes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So then there's corporate training. All right. Corporate training is different than speaking. Speaking is you give a presentation. It's usually kind of high level. You're giving people some juicy information that makes them want you to bring you in to do more training, either as a one-on-one coaching or for corporate training. All right. Training is you better be teaching them some crap, right? You need to get in there and you need to get juicy, and it needs to wow them so that you can continue to do more training with them.
Yeah.
And nowadays you've got to make it fun, because it's got to be edutainment as well.
ROI, right? It has to have ROI.
It has to have so many elements nowadays that they're looking for. Is it innovative? If it's the same old, why are they going to bring you in? They could bring in the person that did it last year, right?
Yeah, that's why having it bespoke and tailored is so
tailored,
right?
on trend, looking at what's going on.
Exactly. And then create a personality.
Yeah.
Right? They're looking for personality. They're still worried about the person that's going to bore everybody. So think about your personality, be genuine. People can smell a mile away if you're fake or if you're putting on airs that you don't actually have. So those are the 3 ways. And then what was the other question?
The question is more about the assets. So in your opinion, when you're working with some of your speakers, what do you encourage them to create to then, once they've built the relationships, to actually solidify, get that gig? You'll talk about having your business cards, your forms, your speaker sheet, all those things.
So the most important part nowadays is social media. So you need the 4 platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Yes, I know Twitter, and YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
And people are like, Twitter, really? I'm like, yes, they asked for it, so you be on it. Sometime Instagram, and that's usually for women's conferences. Okay, the very specific ones who want Instagram. So those are the 5 that you need to play on. Like my Instagram is awful, but I'm on there. I only have 800 poor little people on there. So I take and I look at, you take all of those kind of platforms and you put them all together and you say, how many people do I have total?
Yeah.
So that way you can go to that person and say, hey, I've got 65,000 people in my social media realm. That sounds more impressive than saying I have 800 people on Instagram, right? So you take everybody, you clump them together, but you've got to play on there, because what they're going to do is Google you.
Yeah.
So if it's a porn star coming up and not you, you've got problems. Okay. So you've got to figure out, how do you pull up and get all the other, because there's lots of other Tonya Hofmann spelled the same way, which is really weird. How dare
weird? Because you don't spell it normally.
I know. My husband's family doesn't know how to spell Hoffman right. So, so when you start looking at how do you dominate, well, you've got to get people talking about you.
Yeah.
You got to get a lot. And you got to put out a lot of pictures and videos.
Yeah.
And you've got to get other people talking about you.
Yeah.
And so that's
content producing. Expert.
Like what we do is we do a Facebook Live, and then out the Facebook Live you get like 16 memes, you get a YouTube video, you get 3 Instagram stories. You just repurpose the hell out of one piece of content, but you're covering all the platforms then, right?
Exactly. Use them. And a lot of times with technology nowadays, it's so easy compared to what it used to be. So just do it. Just get over it. Then you got to look at your website. So most people's websites, because I've been doing websites since 2005 and software and app development and all that kind of fun stuff. And one of the things that people always come to me and they're like, why isn't anybody ever coming and opting into my newsletter? And I go to their website and I'm like, well, this is awful, because it doesn't have any personality. And visually, right? So many people don't even have a picture of themselves except for about me. I'm like, you're a speaker and you don't want anyone to see you.
Yes, that's right.
That doesn't make any sense to me. So you've got to come out and you've got to get used to plastering your face everywhere, showing pictures of yourself, like in the, contact me. It should have a picture of you. Like I've got a picture of me holding the phone, like call me, take some personality shots.
But
and
that
then
website should be the reference place, right? Where they've got the keynote topics, they've got the category speaker, they've got the show reel, they've got the bio, they've got the high-res images that you said. So they get the information. If they were looking,
it's about making it easy.
Make it easy for them to choose you as the speaker at the conference, right?
Make it easy. And then one of the biggest tools that's helped me is if you go to my Yippee list, which is the events list of where I've spoken. Used to, I just had everything outlined, just where I've spoken. I thought, well, that's boring. So why did I put the visual? So putting the people's logos of their event, or the flyer they gave me of my picture on it, which is even better. All my awards and books, and put that all on one page, so they just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and they see all of these places. It looks so much more impressive.
Yeah, it's great. Nice tip.
Like it.
Really nice.
You're getting a lot of love, Tonya.
Yeah.
I've got a question from Lisa, who was saying about when you were talking about the interactivity thing, when you're making yourself different as a speaker. She was saying, what do you mean by interactivity? Get the audience involved, ? So can you just elaborate a little bit? I know we're going back a bit, but that question.
So it is about interactions. How are you going to entertain them? So a lot of times people put on their teacher hat. All right, and they start pointing, and this is what you need to do, and no smiling, and what is funny to me is that people think corporate people are different people.
Gray suits, gray ties.
They're not people. They
they're not. They're robots. They want things serious, you know. And there are some groups that are serious, and you better be serious. That's not really my groups. Nowadays, they do want entertainment, because they're bored at work too. You got to remember that if they already have to usually be there because they're being forced to be there. So why don't you have it fun? And the more fun you can make it, the more interaction you can make, make the whole event, the more results you're going to get. Because people are going to walk out going, oh, wow, that was really great. I'm glad I did that today, instead of, oh God, I'm so glad that's over, right?
So what you're saying is it's not so much like the death by PowerPoint that people think, oh my God, the interactivity is your personality. It could be asking questions, it could be involving the audience, but it's just that
it's utilizing your energy, it's utilizing all that you are and all that you have to share, but presenting it in a really great way that allows people to feel alive themselves, right?
Yeah, and interact with actually talking to your training people, the employees. What a great concept, right? A lot of times we talk at people, and then you wonder why they're glazed over. Get them to actually, get rid of the PowerPoint, just high level PowerPoint. You really don't need it. Talk to them and say, hey, John, so we're talking about this today. What did you think? Is that a problem for you? Actually ask him, get John involved. Oh, Susie, Kanika, what do you think? What's your challenges with this? And when you get that interaction going, so brilliant.
And I think, this is a tip for any speaker, right? Whether it's corporate or not, is if you can turn up to the event before you speak and get to speak to the audience before you go on, you can actually be on stage and go, hey, I was just talking to Paul in the break and he said he's got this problem. You've already got this relationship with the audience because like, oh my gosh, she really cares about us. That's because she's actually talking about us, not a one size fits all.
That's right. Didn't just rock up, fall away, rock star like.
There's two types of speakers, and you have to decide which camp you're going to be in. One is the relationship speaker, the other is the transactional speaker.
Right.
So the transactional speaker will fly in, they'll get there 30 minutes before, they'll do their thing, they'll gobble up whatever they can get, and they'll get out of there about 30 minutes after. A relationship speaker like myself comes in and stays the whole time. I'm there super early before anybody else. I'm actually helping if they need any help, right? Because event people love the event help, right? You're getting to know all the vendors, the sponsors, because they're setting up. You get to know all the speakers that actually are relationship speakers too, or the people that are coming early. And then you start building those relationships with the audience. So by the time you're on stage, everyone knows you and loves you.
What a concept. They're just all your friends already. It's like they're just waiting to hear from you and excited to actually hear what you have to say.
Exactly.
I'm aware of time.
We can talk for hours.
I'm aware of time, and I suspect that with the love that we've got, we could go on for a very long time. So I think we should cut to the bit where we actually say, so how do they stay in touch with you, Tonya? How do we get to know? Tell us a little bit more about the PSA.
We want to tell you about the PSA, but then we also want to talk about the conference, because we know that a lot of these guys are going to be interested in this.
So conference. How to put all of these things that we've been talking about into practice.
What a concept. Yeah, so I'm looking, so the Public Speakers Association, if you go to Public Speakers with an S, association, all spelled out.com, you can find out all about the association and our membership. Perfect. And then, and there's also my calendar pops up at the bottom. So remember, I am on Texas time, so we have to kind of coordinate those calendars, but I would love to answer any questions. Y'all could jump on there and pick a time to chat. Then, you know, I'm always sending out speaking opportunities, and I'm always trying to figure out how to get you actually more Google love, social media love, making you show up as much as possible, at the same time find clients, because I always do some type of lead generation in everything that we do. To me, it's important. Plus, I push out your name, your picture, and what you speak about every time you do something with Public Speaker Association to my entire list of 65,000. So it gives you a lot of exposure to a lot of people. Yeah. You know, I've got them, so why not use them? And then also, you know, get connected me on Facebook. Obviously, I just deleted some people, so I do have a little bit of room. I hate that Facebook limits us. How dare they? Exactly. And then, of course, the conference, and of course, the amazing Miss Kelly will be speaking. Yay!
I'm a bit gutted.
She would be too. She was on holiday.
I'm semi-gutted because I will be in the sunshine, but I am actually a little bit gutted.
I'm just going to ask a question from Lisa, because Lisa's saying about the speaking gigs that it's international. So yeah, you get speaking gigs in Europe, in America, you know, some in Asia. So you know that it's all over, Lisa.
Yeah, it's well worth being on this.
Yeah, and you have to think about too, when you get booked internationally. So when you get booked here in the States, then you can do more speaking internationally, but it also raises your level, because if you're wanting to do more corporate speaking, they're going to look at, where have you been? Are you just been in your little city forever and never go anyplace else? So you do need to think broader, and it's just like a wow factor.
But you definitely have a bunch of things happening here in Europe as well. And I think one of the things I love is that you're coming over here just to kind of check things out for yourself as well, which is really good.
Time you've run the conference in the UK, right? So
so we're going to be in London, well, in Cricklewood, which I think is such an adorable name. It sounds so British.
So I put the link to the conference in there, but just tell, because I know what you're actually looking for speakers for the conference.
Yes.
So I am. We've got 10 minutes to 60 minutes still open. And it really ranges from what do speakers need? Everything, because guess what? We're human. So, you know, it is kind of focused on the business of speaking and how to speak more, and, you know, all of those kind of things. But even health and wellness, you know, if we're not healthy as speakers, you know, that's a huge problem. Mindset, you know, all those kind of things are
open to a lot of topics, aren't you? It's got to be relevant to the audience who are going to be there, who are mainly all going to be speakers or want to be speakers, or coaches as well. You work a lot with coaches, and same audience.
Same audience, really.
So they're going to be that. So the fact is that their keynote, their speech is going to have to be relevant to them and informative to them. But there's slots from, you know, all the way up to hour-long keynotes, half an hour, etc., etc. So I put the link in the comments, guys.
So go and have a look at it if you're interested.
People like Lisa just said she's just connected to you. So what we're going to post in the Connection Hub as well soon, so people can apply for speaking that way. But this one, I know this Facebook Live was predominantly for these guys to learn about how to get their foot in the door with the corporates.
From someone who does that on a regular basis.
And that's really what your academy and stuff helps them with, as well as the great tips that you've shared today, that I know everyone here is sending you a lot of love and saying it's been great, and they're looking forward to connecting with you, which is good.
Awesome.
So we will be at the conference. Well, I'll be at the conference. I'm sure
I won't be.
And we're running our retreat the day after, so I can only be there on the Thursday, because we're running our Speaker Insight retreat on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But We will put all the links in, and we'll do some more information in the Connection Hub about this and about everything else that's coming up.
And honestly, this isn't the last time you've heard from Tonya. I suspect you've got some final words of wisdom for this wonderful bunch of people.
Yeah, what would be your final tip for the guys?
Just do it. Stop thinking about it. You know, the people who that's why I like speakers so much, because they're usually the fast thinkers, the fast movers. They're like, oh yeah, that's what I want. Let's go. And that's just kind of the group that, you know, like I said, I don't do things small. I like to do things huge, but with nice people. So if you're not nice, don't contact me.
Forget it.
So we really appreciate your time. We're sorry we've kept you for nearly 50 minutes.
Yeah,
now.
no, that's
No
right.
worries.
You said that though, they're all really sort of sharing the love,
They
so
are
it's
sharing
all
the love.
good. And so even if you got to the very end of this and didn't put #replay, do put #replay and tag each of us respectively with the questions that you've got. So just because this was a live doesn't mean you can't answer, we can't answer questions.
Tonya's in the hub as well, so
exactly.
we'll always get your questions answered.
Yay, which is really good.
So have a great day.
So have a great day ahead of you, even though it's freezing in Texas, which in my head doesn't work, but hey.
I know, those Canadians are so mean, pushing their cold air down.
Which is great. But thank you.
Yeah.
You are an amazing human, and we love having you in the hub and in our lives.
Yeah. Have a great
Thank
one.
you so much.
See you later,
Take
everyone.
care,
See you
darling.
next week.
Bye.